Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's online mentorship session. I'm your host, Mariam Munir. It's an honor to have you all here. Kindly please ensure to mute your name. I'm delighted to introduce our distinguished guest, Dr. Gulnaz Mushtaq, as a renowned Microsoft certified trainer and MVP from Pakistan. Dr. Gulnaz, we're deeply grateful for your presence. Dr. Gulnaz Mushtaq is an exemplary leader in tech education. As a highly acclaimed MCT, she has trained hundreds globally. Tonight, Dr. Gulnaz will enlighten us on building intelligent applications using Microsoft Azure. You'll gain valuable insight into intelligent application development, tech education, excellence, community building strategies. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Gulnaz. Dr. Gulnaz, please share your expertise.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Gulnaz Mushtaq and I would like to introduce myself. So today we are in a session which is called Building Intelligent Apps with Microsoft Azure. So I am a Microsoft certified trainer, an MVP, and also Microsoft Learn expert. And let me have a little bit more introduction about myself. So I have been Microsoft certified trainer since 2018 and I have trained hundreds of students around the world, and now I am serving the MCT community in Pakistan as an MCT regional lead for my region Pakistan. So it's a kind of volunteer kind of position, and I am also a Microsoft most valuable professional in the area Azure. So you guys, maybe you know about the Azure. Microsoft Azure is a cloud platform by the Microsoft. Also, Microsoft awarded me with the Enrique Lima Award, which is a kind of award that Microsoft gives to the people who work passionately for the community around them. And as far as my experience is concerned, I have been working with with both private and public sectors. And as far as my area of expertise are concerned, my area is mostly in Azure administration, Microsoft hybrid administration, server administration, Azure security management, identity management, and Microsoft 365. Okay, guys, as you can see on the screen, on the left side, this is a badge for the MCT, Microsoft Certified Trainers. And on the right side, this is a badge for the Microsoft Certified Trainers Regional Lead. This is my Regional Lead Shield sent by Satya Nadella in 2022. So I have been working as an MCT regional lead since 2022. So this is the badge from the Microsoft Most Valuable Community. This is Enrique Lima Award. This is my MVP award. And if you want to join me on LinkedIn, and this is very simple profile on LinkedIn, Gulnaz Mushtaq. You can join me typing in Gulnaz Mushtaq, and you can, if you want any help regarding any of the technologies, if you need some career guidance, anything else, so you can reach out to me. Okay, guys, so let's discuss about little bit what is cloud computing. So when we talk about the cloud computing, so cloud computing is basically, we say that it's soft services. These are not kind of something which you need to deploy some hardware. So these are the services. If you want to cut down the hardware deployment, like if you want to build some app and you need some server, you can just go to the cloud computing, go for the cloud computing. You can buy a server, which is not a kind of hardware, and you don't need to become like most of the times into the hardware deployments, troubleshootings, just backing up the things, and you are not worried about whether your app is running or not, right? So your hassle would be cut down. So cloud computing is the latest technology. So what is cloud computing? Basically, these are services. Those are being managed through internet. If you have the internet connection in your office, at your home, you can go for cloud computing. So basically, as a whole, there are 4 kinds of services. I'm not talking about just there are 4 services, but the categories are mainly 4 categories. First is compute. Compute is all about certain kind of things. For example, if you want some server for yourself, maybe you are in some working with some office, you are with some organization, you are a student, you need to have some research, right? So you can go and you can find the compute services. So compute services are all about getting machines, getting servers, and deploying applications, smart applications, intelligent applications. Okay, networking. Maybe most of you guys have been working on networking side, like IP addressing, like VPNs, like network security groups, and so many other things, right? So if you need all those things in the case of soft services, so you can go and you can find them on cloud, right? Storage. Everybody is so much concerned about their data. So data is the most precious thing for all of us. So if you need to store your precious data, your data or maybe your company's data, you can go and you can find the storage services on cloud. And these all services are managed by a third party organization. Those are called giant organizations like AWS, like Google, like Microsoft. Fine. So those are big companies. They have strong infrastructure. They have ability to make sure of your make sure the running of your applications, your services, and they can make sure about the security aspects as well. So cloud is nothing. Cloud is something that you can have resources from a third party, and they are looking after their data centers, they are looking after the computers. But you being a customer, if you are a customer of Microsoft, Google, or AWS, you just go and you just go for the soft side, and rest of the hardware infrastructure is being managed by those big companies, big giants. So most of the times people, they talk about the cloud. So why cloud and AI and all that stuff is so much in these days, and they are on trending? Why? Because 85% of organizations, they just report that they feel that still there is a skill deficiency as far as the cloud skills are concerned, and these are being tripled by the next year. And every year, 36% growth is going on. As a whole, cloud is three kinds of services. So first is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure, by the name, infrastructure means, as we talk about the hardware equipment. If you go and you are being hired by some company, you are an IT person, so you have to look after all the infrastructure, the hardware infrastructure, right? So that is a big hassle for you. For example, you are a new internee, maybe you are on some assistant level role, maybe you are on managerial level role, whatever role is you are having. So in any case, you need to take care of a lot of hardware, right? But if you want to cut down that hardware, just because you know that hardware is most difficult task to be managed by you, fine, you need electricity to run up all your systems, you need some physical security, you need internet connectivity all the time for all the servers, right? You need backup services, each and everything. And most importantly, you need a lot of human resource to take care of your data centers. So if you don't need to do that, if you don't want to do that, so you just go and you can find those infrastructure services as services, right, from the cloud. So cloud is going to give you the soft hardware, right? Those are servers, just like the hardware servers, right? But they are on the cloud, and you are managing them in your home, at your home, residing at your home, from your office, anywhere. So cloud is global, right? Second kind of services are PaaS. So today's session is all about the PaaS, development, applications. For example, you need to develop a few applications for your customers. So you don't want to just buy some hardware to deploy applications on those hardware servers, right? all management stuff. You want to cut down, and you just need to focus on development. You need to cut down the operational, the capital cost is being implemented on that infrastructures, right? So if you buy hardware, you need a lot of money, not a lot of finances. You don't want to do that. Your company is, they don't afford. So what you have to do, just go to the cloud and buy those services, right? So take care of only development side, not on the infrastructure side. Also, software as services. Software as services are built-in software like Microsoft 365 applications. A few years ago, those were well known in the industry by the name Office 365. But for now, it's not only Office, it's Microsoft 365. So Microsoft 365 is a lot of services, including Exchange server, that is email server, including some security tools as well, the traditional Office as well, right? So there are a lot of services in the form of software as services. So let's talk about building intelligent Azure web applications. How can we do that? So in this case, we are going to have some demonstration. So let me share another screen with you guys. So Azure is a very intelligent platform because what is Microsoft Azure? Basically, Microsoft Azure is a cloud platform being deployed by Microsoft. You know that there are a lot of cloud platforms, AWS, Google, and lot other as well, right? So guys, please confirm me if you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, fine. So how to get Azure, first of all? So Azure is free for everyone. If you are a student, if you are a professional, if you want to evaluate a few services on Microsoft Azure, you can go on Google and you can type as Azure free. Azure free account. Okay, click on that. Okay, so Azure for free is free for everyone. You can have some free credit through Azure. Create your free Azure account. Click on that. How many services you can have through this free account? So Azure free account is basically a free account for about 12 months. But for the first 30 days, as you can see over here, for the first 30 days, you are going to get $200 credits free of cost to learn, right? And for the rest of 11 days, you are going to get other services free, but those would be a few limited services, right? Just like you can see over here, right? But for the first month, $200 credits are totally free. So you can sign up over here, and then there would be a form where you are going to put your information. And if you are a professional, you want to evaluate Azure for free account, so you can show your identity. Like you need to put your actual address, your name, your one verified SIM, so that you can get a call from their support representative. Why? Because this is just to authenticate you, authenticate the user, whether the user is genuine or not, right? And then somewhere there, you need to put the information of your credit or debit card, but they are not going to deduct anything. This is just for verification. So all the cloud platforms who are going to give you some free cloud platforms like Google, AWS, Microsoft, all of them, they need such kind of verifications, right? But they're not going to deduct anything from you. Okay, so these are for professionals. What about the students? If you are a student, the current university student, Azure free account for students, as you can see. So What are the benefits for the students? If you are an active university student and you want to practice or you want to evaluate Azure, you are going to get $100 Azure credits for 12 months. And these are totally free. Even you don't need to mention your credit or debit cards. This is totally free. But what you have to do, if you start the process, which I'm not going to do right now, but this is very simple. If you are going to click on that, and there would be a form, and in the form you need to put your information. For example, one good email of Outlook, Google or Yahoo, whatever the email you are using, and your university email, which is going to identify you as an existing current active university student, right? And then you are going to fill out the form and you are submitting the form. And once your form is submitted, you need to wait for a few hours. Then you are going to get the access to Azure free account. Okay, so this is the process for students. So all university students, they can go and they can register for Azure free account. Okay, once your account is ready, then open up the browser, and to access the Azure portal, you're going to type as portal.azure.com. So this is for the to access the portal, right? So once you created your account, now it's time to access the portal, just to have a look at what's inside the portal and how we can develop our smart applications. Okay, for example, I'm just going to access my Azure portal, Azure account. So now I am going to put my login information. In my case, as I already logged in, just to save my time for the session. So I am already, my account is here as a logged in form. Okay. So I am getting to the account and now what I can do to develop the applications. Just you can see this global search bar over here. So this is called global search bar. How many services you can deploy? If I click on these three bars over here, if I click on that, you can see all services. So these are categories, basically. So categories are based on what kind of facilities or services you want to get from this cloud platform. So you can see on the left side categories, AI, machine learning. So cloud is going to give you ready to use AI tools like face APIs, computer vision, custom vision, bot services, so many other services. Analytics, all about the data analytics. Fine. Compute, all about getting the Azure virtual machines, some applications, right? So many other stuff as well. Containers, applications, right? So many stuff over there. Okay. So for example, I need to develop an application. So what I can do, first of all, I'm going to click on this search option and I am going to type as application or simple apps, right? Simple. Why? Because when you type something, for example, you type over here VM, virtual machine. So Azure remembers the code. For example, I'm not giving the full command over here, but Azure remembers some codes. For example, I need to develop app, so I just typing as app services. Okay, I'm going to click on that. So this is the platform where I can develop my first app. So my app is based on the stuff relating to whether my programming language is .NET, Java, Node.js, PHP, whatever. Okay, fine. This plus sign is going to create an app for me. Clicking on that, click on web app. Okay, why this is called a web? Because the Azure is global, cloud is global. So this is for globally available. For example, you are developing this app for the people on the internet who use internet, for example, right? The people using internet, this is the application for them. So my app is a web app. Okay. First of all, I need to mention my subscription. What is subscription? This is credit, your Azure credit. For example, if you buy some SIM to call some one of your friends or your family, right? So you need to have some credit in your SIM, in your mobile SIM, right? But that is a kind of service. You're not going, for example, you are sitting here in USA, for example, and one of your friend is in India, and you're not going to travel to India to meet your friend because it involves a lot of cost. Instead of that, you just take your mobile phone and you just call them using WhatsApp, using Facebook, whatever, right? So this is a less cost instead of going physically over there. So this is all about how cloud works, because there is no hardware platform involved. This is just a service. So first of all, you need some credit. It's like you need a credit in your SIM. Okay. So my MSTN platform subscription is ready. So what is resource group? Is a container. Resource group is a basically logical container where you put your all cloud resources based on what kind of the project you are working on. For example, my project name is, if I click on create new, so my project is apps project 1, or I can type as app project test. Okay, I'm not going to give any spacing because this will not accept the space, right? Why? Because instead of spacing, I'm just mentioning that dash or hyphen sign over here. Okay. And my application name. Okay, my application name should be unique, globally unique, just like the name youtube.com is unique name, google.com is a unique name, right? So this is going to work on the internet, so the name should be unique. For example, my app name is AI explains app 01. This is just a test, right? Okay, this is my app name and I don't need this extra identifier. So in that case, I'm just unchecking this option, for example. So system is checking whether I'm going to put a unique name or is it available on already available name or whatever. For example, if I type as test app or something, maybe system is not going to accept my name because somewhere on internet it already exists. So instead of this thing, I'm just putting some unique identifier. Fine. So what kind of app I'm going to develop? Do I work on some coding thing? Fine. So I'm not talking about the container because app development is a huge field. So we can do these things in the future. So for right now, I'm just going for the code. Runtime stack. What is runtime stack? Runtime stack is basically the option of languages. For example, if my app is in .NET 8, system is just going to show me that your app would be in Windows platform, right? But for example, my app is in PHP 8.2. System is suggesting me go for Linux, right? So system is already suggesting me a few things. Why? Because there are some AI tools behind this platform. Okay. So cloud is global. Region. Where should I develop this app? In what region? For example, because this is cloud and cloud has so many data centers around the world, but through this soft-based platform, so I can select my desired region based on in which area of the world I need this app to be more optimized. For example, my target area is Canada Central, right? So currently I am in Pakistan, but my customers are in Canada. So I'm going to develop this app for them. Okay, so what are my plans? If I am developing this app for the Canada Central, so what would be my pricing plans? So pricing plans are just like a few plans that would suit me based on my requirements. So these are all about hardware requirements. For example, how many memory is going to be utilized by my apps, how many CPU power is going to be utilized by my app. So based on my requirement, I'm going to select one of them, right? So I can change them later on as well. For example, in future, if I feel that my app is going to be slowed down, so I can change my plan accordingly. Okay. So right now I'm just not changing anything, but I'm just taking it as it is, and I'm going further. Okay, just leave it as it, because we are not talking about the zone redundancy. I hope we would be doing that in the future sessions. So if you need some database environment for the app, like MySQL database or something like that, right? You can acquire the database as well. And if you don't need that, you can uncheck. Okay, if you want to enable some caches, what are cache? For the fast access. If you need that your app should be accessible very quickly, so you can check this option for the cache, just like your browser cache, right? Okay, for example, for this session, we are not going to check these options. Instead of that, we go next. Okay, development. How would you inject the code? For example, would it be based on continuously development app, or you want to enable that? What is continuously development app? Basically, you know about the GitHub platform, right? If you are a developer, you have your code you have uploaded on the GitHub as an repository, right? And most of the times companies, they have their own GitHub environments. So GitHub is a platform, and if you have your company account or maybe your own account, you can connect your GitHub account directly, right? So every time you are going to upload a new code on GitHub, so it would be automatically projecting over here. But if you don't want to do that right now, you just go and disable. Okay, we can do it manually later on. Okay, next, do you want that your application should be accessible on internet, public access? Okay, fine. Yes, on. Next. So most of the things we are going to skip because of the shortage of time, right? Okay, so for example, do you want to enable the insights? So insights is a kind of thing if you want to have a look at the status of your app, whether it's working fine, how much CPU utilization it is consuming, how much RAM is going to be consumed. Right now, I'm just going to review and create. Okay, why we need review? So right now I'm just, it is going to cost you $44.69 per month, which is very less cost if I compare with the traditional hardware-based infrastructure or servers or some data centers, right? Where you consider the electricity charges, where you consider the physical security, where you consider your hardware maintenance, and it's everything, right? Backup and so many other things. So this is just is going to cost me $44.69 per month. Okay, I'm just going to create the app. Okay, so while system is creating the app for me, I have an example app to show you guys. We are going to develop an app which is going to give us some hello world message, right? So you can see this is a GitHub platform, and this is the link. You can see the URL over here. This is on GitHub, and this is available for everyone. If you want to practice the app development on Microsoft Azure, you can get this code from Azure. So this is link over there. You can see, just copy up this link and you can deploy the app on Microsoft Azure. So you can see so many Azure samples over here. So GitHub is a huge platform. So there are so many other codings as well based on AI, based on simple app development and any other like machine learning and so many other stuff is there. You can see Java on Azure examples, right? So you can have as many cores as you want. Okay. So for now, we are just developing this simple app, which is on PHP platform. You can have a look at the details as well. Okay, so let's have a look that my app is ready and system is going to show me that, okay, your app is complete. Okay, go to resource. So right on the top, AI explains app01 is my app name and I am on overview page. So what is overview? Overview is the main page of anything on the Azure. For example, you deploy any service. The overview is going to tell you about the main specifications or the stuff about something, some services, right? So in my case, overview is all about my app's main essentials. Okay, so right now it is being deployed. As you can see, status is being deployed. So once it's complete, I'm going to get a link to open up through the browser, right? So we can just wait for a few seconds. So meanwhile, if you have some question, you can ask, please. If anybody is having some questions. Okay, so my app is ready. Default domain, right? Domain means the URL. Okay, if I click on this clipboard and I copy my link and I open up the link in the browser, you will see the main default page of that app. So basically, if I, because it's just going to be ready. So the main page of this app is something which is not yet completely ready. Okay, just give it some more time so that it can get ready. So while my app is getting ready, so let's have a look, because this is just a simple app. We did not deploy any code so far. So what I can do, how to deploy the code. On the left side, as you can see the menu on the left side, there are a few options like deployment, settings, performance, so many other stuff. For example, I want to deploy some code. For that, I'm just expanding the option deployment. And I can see deployment center, right? So how can I inject the code? First of all, if I click on deployment center, I would get something over here. In deployment center, actually you are going to push the code. For example, this app is on PHP. Okay, so apps page is ready. You can see over here, right? Because now it's ready. So this is just a home page, some generic page. So for now, this page is just going to show me that your app is ready. Now you can inject the code. Now you can deploy the code. So it's built in with the PHP. Okay, so I am in the deployment center, and here in the settings section, what is the source?
Oh, lay down.
So what is my source? Source might be the GitHub, for example. If I have the GitHub account, I can connect my GitHub account. Okay, it might be some other local Git and so many other stuff, or might be it's from external Git, right? So in our case, it's something external Git, right? So as you can see, this is the link on GitHub, which I already opened over here. So I need to deploy this code, this one, this is stuff in my Azure web application. So in the deployment center section, in case of repository, I selected as external Git. Fine. Okay, for now, I need to deploy with some new strategy. Like I have a few deployment slots as well. So what are these deployment slots and how they will help me in the future? So for now, if I just deploy my code over here in the deployment center, instead of just creating some deployment slots. So deployment center is just putting the code once. But if I go for the deployment slots, I can create different slots. For example, for now, I am having the main slot. But in the future, maybe okay, so in the future, maybe I have new code. So instead of just putting everything in the deployment slot, I should first of all create this thing, right? So I go to the deployment slots and I want to add a new slot over here, add slot. So currently I have one slot, which is my main web application, but I'm going to put a new slot as staging slot. What is a staging slot? So staging means first I will test my code. I'm not going to put everything on live, right? Maybe I have deployed something, some bug in my code, and my bug code is live for the users, right? And when they are using my application, they are feeling that downtime or some bugs in the applications. So instead of doing that, I should create some deployment slot for the testing. So I can name that slot as staging. So staging slot is something like QA testing or testing before actual deployment. So this is a better strategy for me instead of just putting everything on the live mode. Okay, I am just creating a new slot by the name is staging, and I am just going to add my new slot. So I am having a new slot right now, which is called staging, but staging slide is not going to be live until and unless I'm going by myself. Okay. So right now, this is my main production application, which is just a page, nothing else. But I'm going to replace this page with my staging slot later on. Okay. So it is going to give me a new slot, which is called, staging, right? So this is my production slot, which is right over here. But now I'm going to work on this one instead of this. Okay. For this slot, which is staging, I'm going to click on that. Right. And as you can see, you can also having some links over here. So staging slot is having the same menu as the production one. So I'm going to the deployment option, and here in this deployment center, I am actually putting my code over here. Okay. So let it ready first of all. Okay. In settings section, in the source, what is my source? My source is some external Git. Okay, fine. External Git means I can connect with GitHub, right? This one. I'm just copying up this link, or I can click on this code. I can copy this link as well, right? And I can mention that link over here. Okay. So what is my branch? For example, you can put this is the main branch, main code. So you can put as main or master or whatever. And this should be public. When I deploy this thing, it should directly go public. I can test from any browser. Okay. If it is complete, I can save my code. So my staging slot is also public, right? But it's still not public for people around the world. It's just public for me. I, being a developer, I know about this staging slot, right? So my staging slot is ready. Now, what is the result of my staging slot? So still I am on the page of my staging slot. If I go back to overview section, and here is the link for my staging slot. If I click on that, as you can see, this is different from the actual link. The actual link is over here, right? Over here, I'm just opening up another tab and I'm just testing whether my staging slot is working fine, whether it is giving results or not, right? If I'm just going to wait for just a couple of few minutes. Okay, so you can see hello world message. It means my staging slot is ready. So it's still not public because I did not make it as a production slot, and production slot is right over here, as you can see, right? This is my staging. Okay, I'm coming back to the Azure portal. Now I am going back to my main application. You can see on the top navigation, click on the main application. Okay, now I am on the main application. Okay, just come over here in deployment slots. I'm going to swap them. Swap. What is source? Source is my staging slot. If you have other staging slots, right, you can select as per your requirement. Okay, what is your target? Target is my production slot, right? So I need to swap the staging with my production slot, and I need to start the swap. Okay, just let it swap. And you would see that the previous slot, which was just a simple page, right? This is going to be swapped by the staging slot. And now my staging slot is actually becoming the production. So this way I can control my code. Before putting the code live, first I tested my code, then I swapped my staging slot, or I swapped my testing slot with the actual. I did not make any changes in the address, right? You would see that this address is going to be changed by the Hello World application. So previously, this was the initial slot, and now I swapped with the staging, and the staging is becoming the production, right? Okay, just give it some time. So if you want to have a look at what is going on, whether your deployment is working or not, this is notification area for Azure. If I click on this notification, this is going to show you everything that you just deploying, right? So this is successful, fine. Okay, system is just going to show me that something has been swapped, something has become the production. Okay, what has become the production? Okay, I have initially opened this page as a production when we initially developed our app. So now if I click on this link, so now my staging slot has been swapped successfully with the production slot, right? Okay, fine. So this was all about how you can easily deploy your applications with Azure without changing anything. You did not go for any server. You did not go for any live DNS link URLs, right? You just have something on Azure web application and a programming language, PHP, Java, whatever, right? And another most important thing, how you deploy, how you inject your code. Okay, so let's little bit, because we have just 5 minutes, maybe 1 minute more. I think we have just a couple of minutes or not, maybe. Okay, if we don't have further time, so that's all from my side. So we are going to discuss a few such things in the future as well. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Gulnaz. We want to express our heartfelt thanks for taking the time to share your valuable expertise with us tonight. Your insight have been incredibly enlightening, and we are so grateful. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am. Allah Hafiz. To our participants, thank you for actively engaging. Stay connected, keep learning, and we look forward to our next session. Have a nice day. Allah Hafiz, everyone.